What up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome to The Nerdy Narrative, a channel where I like to talk about all sorts of fun bookish related things in the science fiction, fantasy, and horror genres. Today is Monday, and on Mondays I like to recap what I read last week and talk a little bit about what I plan to read this week. So last week I wrapped up the Water 7 arc in the One Piece manga, and we have now entered into the Thriller Bark arc. Wow. Kind of hard to say. Water 7 crushed me. I literally left a piece of my soul in that arc that I don't know if my heart will ever be fully healed from what happened there. There was a little band-aid put on it when we got to Thriller Bark that might heal over time. We'll just have to wait and see. I have really enjoyed what I've read in the Thriller Bark arc. I don't know why that's so funny to say, but it is. I really enjoyed what I've read in it so far. It's had a whole bunch of the slapstick humor that I really enjoy and just find hilarious. You know, I'm 47 volumes in and this manga is still delivering. I know that a lot of people look at how much is written in this and they just feel daunted by it. To me, I am overjoyed because I don't want it to end. Next up, I finished The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. This book is absolutely amazing. It is one of my favorite reads of the year for 2020 so far. On one hand, I'm disappointed I waited so long to read it. On the other hand, I'm glad that I did because now I only have to wait a very short time for Fires of Vengeance, which is coming out in November. If you haven't read this yet, I really encourage you to pick it up. It is fascinating. There's so many interesting qualities about it. The culture, the characters, the magic system, the battles. I finished this book late the other night and I was so hyped up that I literally felt like I could just go outside, run a marathon, and still have energy left to burn. It was that exciting. I am counting the days down to when I have Fires of Vengeance in my hand. I am expecting Evan Winter to deliver and just keep the momentum going that he started with this one. I'm super excited for it. And as you can see by my bookmark, I have been mowing through Middlegame by Seanan McGuire. This sucker is so interesting. The qualities I'm enjoying are the way that science and alchemy is used to basically do a different kind of magic. It has a twin dynamic that I have just always had a strange fascination for. There's just mystery, there's intrigue, there is political maneuverings within a group that's involved. And the funny thing is it also includes excerpts from another book by A. Deborah Baker, which is another name that Seanan McGuire writes under. And as I kept reading those, I became fascinated with that story as well. It's a book coming out by A. Deborah Baker next month. So your girl got that one on pre-order because I am already fascinated with that story just from reading this one. I would recommend maybe checking this one out from your library and giving it a try before purchasing. It took me about 40 pages before I got snapped up into the story. Definitely give it a fair shot before putting it down. I did work a little bit on Words of Radiance. I am at war with myself over this book. I want to binge it out, but then I want to take it slow because I have just had a joyful time reading this book. I have laughed so much, and not just a chuckle or a smile. I'm talking belly laugh. Don't get me wrong, it's not just a bunch of comedy. There's a lot of really important things that I have learned about the world of Roshar that has been illuminating about the story that we're progressing through with the Stormlight archives. I think I've got a little less than 300 pages left on it, but I do want to try and hurry and finish it out so I can read the novella Edge Dancer before continuing on to Oathbreaker next month. I also snuck in the short story The Crime of the Mathematics Teacher by Clarice Lispector. This is totally the fault of the Codex Cantina boy boys, they have this uncanny way of analyzing and discussing literature that make it so that I want to go read it for myself and see what my interpretation is. They are really good about researching the culture, the religion, and all of that sort of intellectual material that surround the author and the story at the time of writing. That really just helps me understand it better. But what really made this one stand out is, for the first time I think I've seen since I've been watching their channel, they each had a different interpretation of what the story meant to them. And that really appealed to me in such that I didn't interpret it either of their ways. I had a completely different personal interpretation. And what I think I'm discovering about myself with this kind of literature is I don't usually see around the story, I just see the words, meaning I just take it the way it's written without necessarily looking for a particular type of meaning. But I don't know if that's the right way to say it, because I still find a little bit of my own meaning. I don't know how to describe myself, but it was a very interesting story. But I'll link their video down below to watch and see, if you're interested, what their interpretations were. My interpretation is simply this: a man came across a dog, a dead dog, who had either died of natural causes, maybe had been hit by a car. It was a strange dog. He didn't know the dog. He felt it necessary to bury this dog. And we come to find out that once he picks the perfect spot to bury this pup, he sits down and he remembers about a pup that he once had. And when he moved with his family, he left this pup behind. And it's clear that he did love this dog. The dog loved him. It sounds like maybe the pup was a little rambunctious. It sounds like he did a few things that the man at the time used to sort of justify abandoning the dog. But he just feels overwhelming guilt for abandoning his pup. And he felt better about it after he buried the strange dog. And then upon revisiting memories of his dog, decides that no, he shouldn't get to feel better. And he unearths the strange dog. When the strange pup is once again buried from the earth, the man feels better because his guilt returned. It's a really interesting story. I never thought of myself as a short story type of girl, but I got her complete works, because if you read about this woman, she's fascinating. Like, she's a boss. I am definitely going to be reading more of this. And so that's everything that I read last week. What I'm gonna work on this week, my goal is to finish Middlegame today, because it's just reached a point in the story that I have got to get to the end. The way it's written, you kind of know what's coming, but you don't know how you're gonna get there. So there's a lot of interesting things happening, and I just need to finish it. I just have to know how this story ends. The second goal is to get Words of Radiance finished quick, fast, in a hurry, and move on to Edge Dancer. And then it's gonna be time to move on to the TBR books that Julie from The Hungry Bookworm picked for me. If you don't remember, The Hungry Bookworm chose some of my TBR for the month. I'll link that down below if you want to give that a watch. I think the first one I want to start with from those is going to be An Easy Death from Charlaine Harris, because I absolutely love her. So that's what I'm planning on working on next week. Of course, I'll be continuing One Piece as well. So last week, when the movie trailer for Dune dropped, the internet exploded, as did my Discord. And a bunch of us have actually never read Dune, but we all wanted to before the movie started. And so we all got to talking, and we decided in the month of December, we will be buddy reading Dune. So if you would like to join in either reading it for the first time or as a reread, check the description box down below for a link to the Nerdy Narrative Discord and come join us. The more the merrier. Reading books with friends is absolutely the best experience ever. Alright guys, that is it for this week's wrap up. I hope your morning is off to a great start. I hope you have a wonderful week and a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you soon.